Hello, lovely humans! Lana here with another video diving into some of the practical tools that Gabor Mate gives us in his book, The Myth of Normal. I am down to the last final few chapters, and I want to share this practical exercise that he shares for reframing and working through limiting beliefs. He's pretty clear about the fact that these beliefs have kind of been hardwired into our brains, and that approaching them like an exterminator, aiming to snuff them out entirely or to deny them with just giving yourself a new positive thought instead, isn't his approach, and he finds it only works sort of temporarily. And this is a, I guess, more fulsome way of approaching the way we think with that compassionate inquiry that he talks about and that I've spoken about in one of my previous videos. So I'm going to get right into it. It's pretty quick. It's just four steps to being a more healed human. So the first step is to relabel your limiting belief by acknowledging that it is just that, a belief and a thought. So if you're thinking, I need to be responsible for other people's feelings, or so-and-so can't be upset, or I need to do this to make sure so-and-so isn't upset, or whatever it is, you can reframe that thought with that compassionate and that inquiry, that sort of inquisitiveness, and say, I'm having this thought that I need to take responsibility for other people's thoughts and feelings, or I'm finding myself holding this belief that I'm only worthy if I'm being helpful, or that I can only feel good about myself if I've done something for somebody else today, or whatever it is. Just acknowledging that it's a thought, and it's a belief that you are holding right now, but it is not you, and it is not necessarily the truth, or the core of who you are. The next thing he talks about is to reattribute. So this one really, it's very brief. All he talks about is just acknowledging that, so you've acknowledged that the thought is a belief, and then it's to treat it sort of like, oh, hey there, old friend. This is my old familiar thought pattern coming back up to greet me. Sort of like greeting your unhelpful thoughts, like old friends that are doggedly persistent. It's not having the thought like, I'm lazy, and then going, no, you're not. You're a great person and you are super productive. It's going, I'm lazy. Oh, I'm having this thought that I'm lazy. This is a familiar thought. Thank you, old friend. Hello there. And then you can refocus. So he says to, for like 30 minutes or so, do something else. Do something that you enjoy. He says that physical activity tends to be the best. Something that occupies your mind and your body, and also can kind of release some of the maybe negative feelings that you're holding, whatever it is, but refocus. He's not necessarily saying to even counter these thoughts with a positive thought at this point. It's just try and distract yourself, essentially. Then he talks about revaluing. So you've gone and you've refocused yourself, and then you can come back to the thought. And again, with that compassionate inquiry, ask yourself what this limiting belief, what this belief has actually done for you. How has it actually been helpful? Or has it been unhelpful? And he kind of talks about how there'll probably be both aspects that come up for you. Yeah, those limiting beliefs that maybe you're not worth anything, that you're not worthy, may have attributed to lack of confidence in life. So, that's maybe more of a negative impact. But maybe it's also made you really selfless and has made you quite self-critical, which can be a negative habit, but can also promote a lot of self-awareness that maybe has allowed you to work on yourself a lot. So whatever it is, but to really assess with as much objectivity as you can what this limiting belief has actually done for you. And then he talks about recreating. So you've acknowledged that this is a thought. It's not who you are necessarily. You've, again, sort of greeted it as an old friend, attributed it to, this is just a neural pathway. Again, this is not necessarily who I am. Refocused yourself. You've evaluated what this belief actually does for you. And now you have the chance to take that agency back and decide what you actually want, to recreate your life and your mindsets. If you loved yourself, if you were confident, if you were all these things, what would you do? And so he talks about thinking about your values and your intentions. And the quote that he ends that chapter off with is, "The road to hell was not paved with good intentions. The road to hell was paved with no intentions." And that really stuck with me. And so he's really hitting home the importance of this recreate step, in that if you are not aware of what your values are and what your intentions for your life are, he's not necessarily saying have a 20-point plan for your life, but if you don't actively know these things and are being intentional about it, you're probably subconsciously taking on the values and intentions of the environment around you, or most likely the often negative perspectives and narratives that we've built up within ourselves from childhood, and those might not be helpful to us. And so again, in our adult lives and bodies, we have the agency and the opportunity to rethink some of the ways that we think. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. There's so much more that I want to share with you all. I'm finding this book really helpful, and it's a book that you could just read and take in at face value, but there's a lot of practices in here, especially in the last half of the book, that you can build into your life and actually do the exercises, like self-directed therapy. And I think I'm going to get a lot out of it. And if you're someone that may have picked up the book and in the first half found it to be dry and you couldn't get through it, I'd really encourage you to even just skip to the last section of the book, because again, it gets a lot more practical and there's some tools in there that you could incorporate into your own therapy journal practice, on your own journey to wholeness. So really would encourage everyone to, pick it up, do the work, and you can even just go through some of these practices I'm sharing in these videos. All right, I'm going to leave you all with that. I hope that wherever you are having the day that you need to have. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.